My guest today is Dominik Ufe from Kaufland, one of the leading international retail chains in Europe, known for its strong presence in the food retail and hypermarket segment. Dominik, welcome. Welcome to Surreal. Welcome to Repex.
Thank you very much for
It's
having
your
me.
first time here.
It's my first time in Sarajevo in Bosnia.
What are your impressions about Repex?
I really like it. It's the first time here, and I'm very surprised how you created it. It's something different I can use too, but in a very positive way. And it's a nice mixture between the fair trade and the meetings what you have very in private with the business partner, and also with the panels and the interviews.
When you compare it with Mapic in France,
Yeah, Magberg is very big,
It's
but
bigger, yeah.
it's more, it's closer. You can have proper conversations. You can take your time for that. Really, really like it.
so great. Nice to have you here. To start with, how would you describe the current state of grocery retail in Europe and in this region? Because you are present in the region of Western Balkans.
Yes, we are. So the Kaufland is a grocery chain. We operate 1,600 stores throughout Europe. So the countries where we are present, we have the homeland Germany, where the majority of the markets are, then Poland, Czechia, Slovakia, Romania, Bulgaria, Moldova, and here in the region we are in Croatia present. Our sister company Nihilist, and also in the other area here present. But what we discover throughout all the crises we went the last time, we see that the business what we are in is quite resilient. And being part of a grocery chain there in the real estate department, you see that because of this resilience, we see this interest in our asset class of grocery anchored real estates. So there is a strong focus on it. There's a strong growth for it. So we have a momentum, and we are working to keep it stable.
And what is with the expansion? We know you are present in Croatia and all the other countries that you mentioned, but what is with Bosnia and Herzegovina? We are not still with seeing you here.
Yes, that's true. Actually, I expected that question. Yes, we are not present in Bosnia. We are present in Croatia. They're off for now, so I'm also responsible for strategic expansion, so searching new countries and opportunities in Europe. We are not planning to enter the Bosnian market for the moment. Never say never.
Because we have a Lidl that is coming.
Yes, they do it. Yes. They will be very successful. It's a very good opportunity for them. But we're focusing, so Lidl is focusing on the Bosnian market at the moment. We are not for now, but never say no.
Hope to see you.
Yes, good to hear. Thank you.
And how do you balance price and competitiveness with quality and customer experiences? That is very, tough topic today, I think.
Yeah, but I think this is the one where we have the huge strength in it. So we as a Schwarz Group, so being Kaufland and Lidl, but being an employee of Kaufland, just talk about Kaufland, but this is in our DNA. So what we do, you have to ask the question, why are you doing these things, what you do? And for us, the why is for sure, we want to deliver good quality food with very good and reasonable prices for our customers. So we are not focusing on the high income, we are focusing on the average person, the average family, that they can afford and have a better life. And we're working hard on that with our own brands to deliver this why what we are strong in. And I think what I observe traveling, we do a quite good job. And I think the success where we are standing within the markets where we are present shows the success of our product and our approach.
You told earlier that you are resilient, but you see that situation on global markets, the prices are rising, energens and all. How do you compete with that? And do you deal with that?
Yeah,
Maybe it's a better question.
That's a good question. It's a question what we ask ourselves internally as well a couple of years ago. And one outcome or one solution out of this is that we are producing a lot of groceries by ourselves. So for example, we have our water wells, we produce nuts, coffee, ice cream, bakery products. So we have huge facilities in Germany where we produce this car classic or the brands what we sell. And then Kaufland itself, we also have a meat production. So there we are a little bit closer to the market. But yes, especially also the current energy crisis where what we are heading, we assume that there will be a growth in the prices, and we will face another inflation. If you would ask me end of last year, I would say within the European Union, but maybe in Germany, you going to 2% inflation, in Poland 4, 3.5. It's going to be higher now. So, and especially fertilizers you need for growing food. You need the diesel for the machines. Yeah, there will be increases, but we are working hard on keeping it as low as possible and doing the job what we are.
Let's talk a bit about your strategy. Also, I'm interested in the situation that we were talking about that on the panels that, for example, in Kaufland, the hypermarkets, they are not just the grocery shopping anymore, because you can buy everything in the supermarkets now. You are expanding
Yes.
in a lot of different ways.
So what's unique with Kaufland? So we have the approach, what we call it one-stop shopping. So we have our let's say supermarket, or we are not really a hypermarket. We are a big supermarket with 90% groceries or food and near food, and a little places for non-food. I will come to this second. But one advantage what we have, or USD, we work with local and national partners. We could call it concessionaires or tenants who have rental spaces there, of pharmacies, convenience shops, and there's been bakeries to offer the customers the local goods. And when it comes to non-food, what we do nowadays is together also with Lidl, we offer products like Parkside, Crivet, so own products to the customers, and then we fulfill the non-food. So yes, you get more and more in a supermarket, but the majority is still the food and near food.
And what about e-commerce? How do you deal with that? Is that like one more benefit to your customers, or are you scared that e-commerce will replace these physical stores?
Yeah, it's a good question. Also something what we ask ourselves. So there are two different approaches. So if it's coming to e-commerce, selling fresh food, it's a business which is there, but the growing rate is quite slow. Maybe it's growing in the future. It's reasonable, but at the moment it's quite a smaller part of the entire business of the grocery food. But when it comes to what we have, so as coming to marketplace or e-commerce itself, then we are present there. We expanded in this business, and this is also an exception in our world. So we have, for example, Kaufland.de and Poland and Czech Republic, and we have also location, or we have marketplaces where we are not present with a physical store. For example, we have a marketplace in Austria, in France, and in Italy. So you can buy at Kaufland in Italy, but we don't have a physical grocery store there. So this is the approach what we have, and this e-commerce business is expanding. And maybe this could be an opportunity to see it here.
Are you open to, I don't know, new technologies, artificial intelligence, which is present today? What's opinion?
It's a must. So you have to. So
how do you implement this artificial intelligence and new technologies in Kaufland?
I think there are several layers on that. So the first layer is how to implement it as an employee in your daily work. For example, optimizing your daily business with Excel files or whatever. So your personal assistants. That's the first layer, I assume. The second layer then implemented in your processes. How do you plan a real estate, your market? How automatically is it possible to plan? And also the layers in the background there, you need the proper data. If you have really bad data, the output would be beneficial for the business. So you have to take care to have good business, and we are working on that. But it depends on the business. So our purchasing department is using it differently, like we in the real estate department. But it's a must-have.
And for the conclusion, what trends are currently reshaping grocery retail in Europe, and what trends can we expect in the future?
Ooh, that's a good question because you're asking a real estate guy. For real estate, I can say that we sustainability, but I assume that's going for the rest as well. So what we assume, what I see from the purchase department, but as I said, I'm not an expert on this. I can't say too much for that. Is partnering up with business partners, getting closer to each other, solving together the problems. This is also something what brings us into real estate business. We have to ask ourselves the questions: how do we give all the businesses and the situation to the next generations? And we answered the question quite properly. We signed an SBTI by 2045 to be net zero since then. Kaufland will be scope 1, cut their CO2 emissions by 80% by the end of this decade. So 2030, we're going to match this easily. Then we're going to have to focus on scope 2 and scope 3. There's a long trajectory, but those are then filled with a lot of smaller projects, real estate, purchase department, sales department, and so on. And there's a clear trajectory where we are heading. And then there are trends filled in with that. But being in a grocery chain, we always have to figure out which product. We work together with a lot of influencers, who is on vogue now, who's the next, what's the next trend, and you have to be really close to the markets.
Thank you very much for this conversation, and wish you all the luck in your business, and hope to see you again in Sarajevo and enjoy our town.
Thank you very much.